and I'm going to be your host for this part of the program. Um, I have on the call with me Emmanuel. He's going to be our speaker for today's class. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Hi, Kenny. Good morning. Just confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear. How are you doing
Fantastic.
today?
Well, I'm pumped up, I guess. I'm ready for this, I guess. So,
That's the spirit. All right, Emmanuel. So today we are here to talk about data analytics using Power BI. Can you please introduce us into what, just give us a fair idea of what data analytics is all about? What is this data
uh,
analytics? You hear it every time here on the what is data analytics?
all right. Thank you, Kenny. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me, and I'll just go straight into the question. Thanks for the opportunity to share this. So, for me, data analytics. I hope I'm permitted to share my screen, though.
Yes, please.
Okay, fantastic. I'll do that then. So data analytics for me is a process, right? Because for me it's ongoing. So it's a process of making sense of related or non-related materials. That's different data points. Um, and the goal or the aim for bringing
Sorry,
this for
Emmanuel,
making.
we can't see your screen yet if you're sharing.
Okay, let me hold on. Let me do that then. Give me a second. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay, let me know when you can. How about now?
It's coming up.
Okay.
All right, it's up.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so data analytics, right, is a process. All right, it's a process of making sense of data that you have. All right. In this day and age, we find ourselves there's quite a lot in terms of data being amassed on a daily basis, be it from your business, be it from what you do. There's a lot going on. So every day, every passing day, we have a new data point, which in this case could be related or non-related, right? And the process of making sense of all this data is what data analytics is all about. Okay. And the goal of making sense of data in the end is so we can gain meaningful and actionable insights. And it's for us to be able to answer questions where necessary. So that's for me is data analytics.
Okay. So how, based on what you've said now, it seems really theoretical. How does this help me today as a person?
Um, okay, today for data analytics, right? Okay, to answer that question, let me quickly give you an example. All right. Um, let me quickly give you an example. Okay.
All
Um,
right.
take for instance a shopper going to the market to get an item, say milk. Okay. When the shopper gets to the market, he meets the first person who he wants to get the item from, the first seller, and says, "Hi, seller, I want to buy milk of a particular brand." And the person tells them, "Okay, this milk is going to cost you 14 naira." Okay, and the shopper says, "Okay, hold on, let me, I'll be back." He goes to the next shop, checks another person, and says, "How much does this cost?" And the person says, "It's going to cost you 45 naira." The shopper says, "Wait, I just went to a shop and that cost me 14 naira. This place is costing me 45 naira." Out of being curious, the person goes into another shop to say, "Hi, how much are you selling this?" The person says 14 naira. At that point in time, the shopper says, "You know what? I need to make a decision." All right. But something I want you to understand from this example I just gave first right now is this thing the shopper just did is what we call data gathering. All right. The shopper was able to go to shop number one, get the price of a particular item, goes to shop number two, gets the price of the same item, goes to shop number three, gets the same price of the same item, all varying prices. Okay. That at this point is what we call data gathering. All right. Now, this is after you have gathered data. Now, that is where data analytics starts or comes in. Data analytics now says, this data you have gathered, how can we use it to get what we what we are here to achieve? In this case, the shopper is in the market to buy milk. That's why the person went to the market in the first place. Okay. So how does the shopper get to know which milk to buy and where? So what the shopper does in this case is he runs in his mind, okay, this particular shop says it's 40 naira. This one is 45. This one is 40 naira. Which one do I go for? What am I looking for at this particular point in time? What am I considering? Am I considering price? What exactly am I looking for? But the person's goal, don't forget, is getting milk. All right. So in this case, the person goes ahead to get milk from one of the shops based on whatever decision the person has made and based on this particular data that has been gathered. All right. Now that is what we call data analytics. So to answer your question, you can use data analytics really for making decisions, answering questions to things you're not really aware of, but you have the data to back it up. So once you have the data, you're able to make such decisions. You can use data to answer questions. That is the goal of data analytics. And okay, go ahead.
That's very, very, should I say, applicable. Something I can really relate with. Um, so, what are the things, or if I wanted to do data analytics today, what can I use to do that? What can I use to achieve that? How can I do that?
Okay. Okay, I think I should just continue with the story of my shopper then. Um, so to achieve data analytics, right? From the example I just gave, the shopper made a decision based on the price he has gathered. He used his head, used his mind, put everything in his mind and said, okay, I'm going to buy from this, I'm going to buy from this. All right. Now, let me bring that to what a data analyst, maybe in an organization or in a particular sector, does. All right. Now, the shopper, remember the example of the shopper I just gave? The shopper and the
Okay.
analyst, in this case, let me draw the comparison for you. The analyst will use a tool. I don't have to mention any right now, but it's going to use a tool, right? A data gathering tool to get that same information. All right. In this case, you can see a table on the screen showing you a seller and the price. Are you with me? Now, there are different tools you could use for this. You can use a tool like Excel. You can use some database technologies as well to actually achieve storing your data in this format. Okay. Now,
The
that
slide is
is
get moved. Sorry, I can still see yes, yes. That's
okay. Sorry for the lag. Now, you can use you can even use your pen and paper to gather this data today. Do you understand? But the data, what the shopper did at the point of getting to know the prices, it's the same thing this analyst is doing by writing the same price in an Excel file somewhere. I'm using Excel in this case as an example. Okay, writing the data in an Excel somewhere in a tabular format, like we can see on the screen. By tabular format, I mean in columns and rows, as you can see. Seller in one column, price in another column. Then we have the different sellers and their different prices. Okay. Now, remember I said earlier that the shopper went ahead um, to get the item from one of the stores. Some other things the shopper might have considered, all right, could be, did the person I go to buy the stuff from, did the person offer me stuff to buy on credit? How was the customer service from this person? How was the product packaged in this particular store? These are different data points you'd analyze, all right, or you try to make sense of, even as a data analyst sitting behind the system somewhere. The same way the shopper is able to get the same data, use his mind, right, to make this kind of decision, an analyst can sit on a system somewhere and look at this kind of data and even more and say, okay, based on this particular parameter, based on this particular thing, I am going to make this particular decision. So to answer your question, Kendi, is the mind, for me, I think is the very first tool for data analytics. Okay, for me, the mind is the very first tool. Just like the shopper is able to use his mind to make a decision on what to buy and where not to buy. So that, to answer that question, is going to be the mind. Okay, of course, there are other tools in the world today. Okay, very fantastic tools, I must say. There is the likes of R, there is Python, there is Microsoft Excel. Sorry, if you are new to most of those things I'm talking about, is understandable. You are not alone. Okay, there's a tool like Tableau, there's Power BI, there's ClickView, and so much more. Okay, these are different tools you could use today to analyze data. And data I'm talking of right now could go beyond data from three sellers to become 3 million sellers in the world. Do you understand? So the kind of tools we have today are able to do this kind of workload. So the likes of R, your Tableau, your Python, your Apache Spark, your ClickView, these tools are readily available today to help with data analytics.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel. So, there's one thing I've learned now is our minds are wonderful at analyzing data,
Yes,
and most of us are data analytics,
I can tell you that for free.
data analysts.
We do that every
Okay.
day, actually.
Okay. So, with all of these tools we have here, why did we decide? Because again, this topic of this webinar today is Power BI for data and analytics. So why did we choose Power BI instead of these other ones?
I think I will stay away from why we choose Power BI, honestly, because uh, these other tools that on the screen as well are very fantastic tools, I must tell you. Okay, but for the sake of this particular session, all right, because we're likely going to touch on some of these tools maybe in the near future. Um, for this particular session, we choose Power BI because we believe it's a tool that is a leader, truth be told, is a leader as per some metrics recently. But we chose Power BI because of the easiness. It's easy for many people who have already used Microsoft-based tools like Excel and the likes before. So remember, this particular session is for beginners. Again,
Yes.
so truth be told, I would like to start to talk about R here. I would like to talk about Python here, but when you're talking about data analytics for beginners, you don't want to start from R and Python. Okay, you probably want to start from a tool that has a click and drop interface, a tool that is easy to use, a tool that you can just plug and play and you're good to go. Okay, so that's why we are using Power. As I said, we don't want. It's not like Power BI is preferred over all. It's just a tool that you can start out your journey as a data analyst as a beginner.
Okay. Okay. So we are going to be sending a very brief poll in the chat section at this moment. So please do well to just a click or two would get you to the end of the poll. So please just kindly go to the chat section and take the poll. All of this again is helping us is helping us with our data analytics.
Right. So you're not gathering data. Interesting. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy
All
to
right.
hear that.
I'm just trying to apply the things you're teaching us.
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Um. So now that we've learned Power BI is we've learned why we are choosing to use Power BI. Again, I really appreciate the direction in which you took in which you approached the explanation of what data analytics is. Yeah, it really brought it back home. I just always thought that data analytics was just this very, very technical thing for really techie people. Apparently, I'm even a data analyst. A data analyst.
Apparently.
I've probably already done this morning, while considering what time should I leave home. While considering what route to take this morning. Well, I'm a data analyst.
I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to hear that.
Okay. So I think we should see the poll now in the chat section. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I can see certain. I can see a number of people are. Wow, that's huge. Looks like you all love Excel so much. That's cool.
Well, that's one good thing about I like about data, right? So you can see right now, again, this is fantastic. This is happening right in front of us all. Okay. So you can see people responding right live on the call, showing you the kind of tools. This question is what? Which of these analytics tools are you familiar with, interested? Wow, wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. So
All
this is
right. So
this is data gathering and data analytics in real time. Interesting.
real time. All right. While that is ongoing, the poll is still there for others who haven't given the answers yet. Please let's go on to do that, and let's get some insight from the data you provide. Thank you. Now I think we can move on to the next stage. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for making all of this clear. We know or we have a fair idea of what data analytics is. We have a fair idea of what tool we're using and why we chose to use this tool. So Power BI, which is what we decided to use. Can you help us a little bit more on this Power BI? How do we use Power BI for data analytics? I know how to use my mind now for data analytics. Thank you. So how do I use Power BI?
Okay. Quite an interesting question. How do you use Power BI? Um, let me be sarcastic at this point. I think the way you use your mind is the way you use Power BI. Should be told, but this time around you just have to interact with your computer. Okay. Um, just have to interact with the computer. But before I go into how we use Power BI, okay, can I quickly touch on um, something we may have just skipped not so long, which is this particular thing for data analytics, all right? The reason we are really talking about data analytics, why we really do data analytics again, is for the sake of answering questions. Okay, I mean, it was through data and analytics that we were able to tell when there was a COVID-19 outbreak in the world. It was through data analytics we were able to tell that it has started subsiding. Okay, that has been a use of data analytics even in the world today. So it doesn't have to be for your business alone or for buying decisions alone. Data analytics actually has a widespread. Okay, for instance, when a new kind of vaccine is created or a tablet or medicine is created, my understanding is that these things go through what we call a trial. When you go through trials and you gather data based on these trials, based on the analytics of that data, you can tell, oh, this particular tablet is safe for use. Okay, that is data analytics being used. That's another goal of data analytics, being able to answer questions. Are we able to use this medicine? Does this you talked about the route you took this morning? Is this route okay for me to go to work this particular morning? And so on and so forth. That is data analytics at work. So I just thought I should touch on that before going into Power BI. Now, Power
Thank you
BI.
very much for that.
A Power BI. I see Power BI as one mighty. The truth is, I need to use the word mighty at this point. I see what Power BI is one mighty tool, but that is so easy to use. Okay, imagine something that is really, really big, right? It has a lot embedded in it, all right, but it's very easy to use. I mean, I think from the responses you got earlier, a lot of people already have an idea of Excel. So I can already give those people, I'll say, have a little advantage or a little edge. Since you already have a bit of Excel knowledge, then that gives you an edge when you start talking about Power BI. So imagine what you know in Excel today. Imagine a senior brother to what Excel is able to do today, and it's still very easy to use. So Power BI helps you or lets you connect to your data. Remember the mind, the way the person went to different stores and gathered this data. Power BI now helps you connect to that particular data wherever it is residing. Please, in an electronic version, Power BI doesn't go to different stores. I need to be clear on that. Power BI will connect to your data where it is, wherever it's stored electronically. Okay, be it an Excel file, be it file you have on any storage device today, Power BI is able to connect to that particular data source. That's what's called a data source in this case. Power BI is able to connect to that data. All right. Please don't forget the tail of the shopper. All right. When he's able to get data, but in this case, he's storing it in his mind. Power BI cannot connect to your mind just yet. Okay. But Power BI is able to connect to your data wherever it is in an electronic version. Then you're not able to take that data, right? Work on it, just do some little, if I'm going to use the word magic, right? And visualize. But when you're visualizing, when you're putting images or pictures around your data, you are basically discovering something that is hidden in that data. You're discovering that gem in that data. You're discovering something you did not know before. All right. Power BI helps you connect to the data and extract that juice from that data. You're able to find that thing that's very important in that data. What should I know about this data? Every route is usable today, but what route will I use to the office? Okay. What route is the optimal way to get a good from point A to B? That's what Power BI is able to help you to do. What month of the year are we making the most sales? Which particular product is driving our revenue? For those in the sales industry, which particular product is driving our revenue? How are you able to get to know those things? Power BI is able to connect to that data wherever it's hiding today, right? And fetch out these things for you. Then when you're done fetching these insights, right? This whole thing you have visualized, that's what's called insight. You are not able to share with people. So you have that whole value chain from getting the data to visualizing it, getting the juice out of it, and then sharing with people. I mean, with my own experience, I'm able to tell we've been able to, okay, I don't have to give out names, but we're able to achieve some real business growth, right? And this has been from some experience. We've been able to drive some real business growth based on data. And how do we get to know these things? We went into the data, we connected a tool to it, extracted this juice out of the data, and the business knew, oh, this is what we need to keep doing. This is what this particular data is telling us. People are buying this more, people are not buying this one, and people are avoiding this, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you're able to now share that data, that insight with people. Then you can use that, who can then make business decisions based on that. Yeah, sometimes as analysts, we find ourselves some behind the scenes whereby you're the one advising, that someone is making the decisions or calling the shots. Yes, it's actually a very good place to be sometimes. But as an analyst, you are also having that role, that because if it's a business, or if it's in health, if you're not able to provide that information when necessary, there's likely going to be a risk of business failure or something else. But as an analyst, you see yourself as that person who is able to steer a business away from harm, damage, loss. Okay, so you're able to extract that juice and share with people. So for me, that is Power BI. I don't know if I've been able to explain Power BI with these few words of mine.
That has done more than, if I use the word that has done justice to it, it will feel like an understatement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now I want to say I understand what Power BI is and what it does. But now, what are the, can you take us through how to use this Power BI in doing a little bit of data analytics? I know Power BI now. I know all the theory, they give me an exam now with all 10 questions, I'm probably going to get A.
That's good to know.
But if I get the data here and I'm meant to draw this juice like you used from that data, how am I supposed to go about it?
Okay, then thank you. So let me take it from here then. Okay. So
Go ahead.
before I get into showing you how Power BI can help you with extracting the juice from your data, okay, I'll just take us quickly in theory how Power BI works and so on. Then we'll now come back to touching Power BI. We'll see what Power BI looks like, and yeah, that it will be my pleasure to do that. So let's go into how Power BI works. Now, please pardon me, I'm likely going to discuss some theories for now, but I will do my best to make these theories relatable. Okay? Power BI, all right, has three components. Okay? And please, for those who are also on this call who are interested in becoming certified data analysts, please do well to follow through with this particular webinar. After this webinar, there's a particular Microsoft course I'll share with you, which you can pass immediately after this course, immediately after this webinar. So that will help you. If you listen to this, you can pass that particular stage today. I don't mean tomorrow, but just by paying attention today. Okay. So I'll do my best to explain this to you in a way and manner you would understand. And I leave it to you to now go and get certified as a data analyst. Now, Power BI has three parts, or if you choose to use the word elements, okay? The Power BI desktop, which is a desktop version of Power BI. That is the, remember I said Power BI is huge. It's a very robust solution, right? It's a very big solution that has quite a lot embedded in it. So the Power BI desktop is where you do most of the work, all right? Is where you do the building, the connecting of to your data source, is where you do the extraction of the juice, is where you put a lot of things together. That's where you do the mixing and matching of all the data. Okay, you use the Power BI desktop to do all of that. You use that to build the reports. Okay, now for those who don't understand what reports are, as an analyst, when you get data, extract this juice from data, and you're presenting it, that thing you are presenting is what we call a report. Okay, that juice you're presenting, that thing you're presenting to a business or to yourself or to anybody is what we call a report. Okay, now you extract this juice using the Power BI desktop. When you're done with building the report, you save the file, then publish it to what we call the Power BI service. Okay. Now, remember I said at the beginning of when I was explaining Power BI and how it works or how you use Power BI, you have your data, you extract it, then you share. All right. The Power BI service is a platform that helps you with holding that your report so that anybody can view the report anywhere they are. I hope I'm making progress. The Power BI service is that platform that holds the report for you while you share it with people to view. Okay, so the Power BI desktop is used for building the report. The Power BI service is where you send the file, where you store the file or the report so that you can make it available for sharing. All right. Now the Power BI mobile app, which is a third element, is so everybody on the go. When you are done with creating the report, storing it where you can share, and you've shared it, you can then view this report on the go using the Power BI mobile app. And these applications are available. The Power BI mobile app in particular is available both on Android, Android, iOS, and Windows. Okay, so that is how Power BI works. Those are the three elements of. Sorry, that's not how Power BI works. Those are the three elements that make up Power BI. Now, bringing these three things together, if you look at the image I have down there, everything, I explained this when I was talking about explaining Power BI earlier, all your data sources come into Power BI desktop. Okay? All the data sources that you have, all the data you have gathered from wherever it is you have gotten this data from. They all come into the Power BI desktop. That is where you do all the analysis you need to do. Okay. When you are done with that, you save the file. You now do what we call publishing. Okay. You publish the file or that your reports to the Power BI service, right? From the Power BI service, you can then share the file or the report to people using their email addresses, and they can view it on the mobile app. That is how Power BI works. Okay. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's how Power BI works. Does it really help me do anything? I know I've been explaining that it's very interesting. The question I want to answer next is, why should I care about Power BI? All right. And I'm going to give you from a personal experience I had, okay, where we're able to optimize and improve efficiency in reporting by 83% using Power BI. Okay. How do I mean? I had a team that every morning when they wake, and I'm going to bring this to the busy people who resume every day in the office. If you are in that shoe, this is for you. And if you have another use case for Power BI, just pay attention to this. I hope you find how it works for you. So every day, this team they wake up from 8 to 10 o'clock every morning. They have to spend time gathering data and fixing a report every morning. That's 2 hours spent on reporting. When Power BI was introduced to this team, all right, it takes them 20 minutes at the maximum to get reports out. Now you might be wondering, what kind of magic is that? It's not magic. It's what Power BI is meant for. Imagine sleeping, waking up, your report is ready. You don't even have to sweat again to spend hours and a whole day making a report. Okay? So for those who are new to Power BI, that is what you are coming into. You're coming in to use a tool that can help you supercharge the way you work. You don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. I love to use Excel. I need to say that. Excel is fun, Excel is wonderful, Excel is beautiful. But no. It's not when we talk about Power BI. When you put that side by side with what you do with Power BI, you say no, you don't have to spend this time doing these reports every morning. That's where Power BI comes in. Power BI can help you improve your efficiency by 83%. At least this was a personal experience which I'm sharing with you. And I encourage you to find space in your heart to welcome Power BI, because I believe you will find use for it even in your own space, whether it is in business, whether it is in sales, whether it is in health, whether it is in whatever it is you do, really, right? As long as you have data coming in, okay, you can use Power BI to make sense of that data. By the way, I think I need to mention something. I was having a conversation in the build up to this webinar, and a conversation came up around data as per internet data and data as per this data we're talking of for analytics. I thought I should use this opportunity to separate those two things. When I'm talking about data at this point, I mean data that you gather in a format for analytics, not your mobile data for internet connection. So we don't mix that up. In case you have that question at the back of your mind, that answer is for you. You're able to. I just want to separate those two things for you. Data we're talking of in this case is data that's probably captured in a tabular format where you have your columns and your rows. Okay. Please, if you don't understand some of these things I'm saying, please feel free to drop your question in the chat box. I'll be happy to take them at the end or whenever Kende permits me to. Okay. But I just wanted to separate those two concerns: data as per internet data and data as per data used for analytics. All right. So I just wanted to. So the data used for analytics is information or facts gathered over time. So analytics helps you now bring out the juice from it. All right. I just actually mentioned that before continuing. Now, I've talked about Power BI and how it can help you. Now, how to use Power BI, I've actually explained this already. I've actually explained this. So the way you use Power BI is get data. Power BI connects to, I think over 200 data sources today. So there's practically no data source you want to connect to today, apart from your mind, please. There's practically no data source you want to connect to today, especially electronic data sources that Power BI doesn't have a connector. We have something called a connector in Power BI, which Power BI uses to reach that particular data. So if you have your data sitting in a cloud somewhere, if you have your data sitting on your system, it can be on your laptop or your desktop. If you have your data sitting in an Excel file somewhere, Power BI is able to connect to this. For those who use, if there are marketers on this call, if we use tools like MailChimp, Power BI helps you connect to MailChimp directly to get analytics directly into Power BI. Okay, so I would say give Power BI a try, even if you've not done so yet. Give Power BI a try, and you'll be amazed at what you will find with it. When you connect to Power BI, I'm still talking about the theories now. We're going to go very soon into the hands-on demo. So when you connect your data to Power BI, Power BI is able to read that data, understand the data the way it is set up, brings it out in a format that makes sense. Then it's now for you to do what we call click and drag and drop. You just go to a particular space, click on it, drag it, click on this, drag it out, and your report is ready. You're already building reports from at that particular point in time. So that is how Power BI works. Then when you take it, okay, that's how to use Power BI, publish it to the Power BI service where you now create new visualizations, build dashboards, and the likes. Then you can now share these dashboards with people and view them, and they can then view this dashboard on the go. So Power BI has the opportunity, it gives you the avenue of connecting data sources from different places. So imagine you have a file in Excel that has data in it. You have another file sitting somewhere in the cloud, right? And you have another file sitting maybe in your marketing, in one of the marketing tools you use today. With Power BI, you're able to bring all these different data sources together, merge them together, make them work together, and bring out the sense from that particular data. I don't know if I've been able to if you understand, if there are any questions. I think I would like to take questions at this point personally before we go into the next phase of the conversation for today, which is going to be the hands-on demo.
All right. So if you have a question, just kindly raise your hand. There's a raise hand button. Um, so kindly raise your hand and would permit you to speak and ask the question one after the other. And Manu, thank you very much for that in-depth as a breakdown of how Power BI works, the building blocks, and everything that makes Power BI what it is today. I think that's a lot of information we are still trying to digest at the moment. So why we um make peace with all of this information we just heard, um a quiz. We'll be going on a break, a short break briefly, um and a quiz will be posted in the chat box also. um so while we're on break, we're just gonna have a 10 minutes break. While we're on that break, the quiz is going to put in the chat section there. So please let's kindly go there and answer it. There's nothing outside of what has been said so far, what has been taught to us this morning by Emmanuel. Everything is based on what we've heard this morning, and I'm sure we are all bright minds are going to blow Emmanuel's minds with the responses we give. So please let's go into the chat session once that has been shared and answer them. So by 10:53, we're going to be back to continue with the um, hands-on demo Emmanuel wanted to share with us on all this theory he has been seeing so far. How do we actually practicalize it? So So you should see the quiz in the chat section already. So what about questions? And Emmanuel has given us a lot of beautiful explanations today. I won't be surprised if you understand everything that has been said so far, but again, questions are very beautiful to have. So what are those things? Something Emmanuel has said that, what does it actually mean about this? Why is this thing this way? So just use there's a raise hand icon. You should see that beside the three dots. Just click on that, and once you see that, we're going to grant you permission to speak. Then you can ask your questions. Questions. Looks like we're all hasting 0. All right, I can see someone has their hands up already. All right, Mr. Olaraju, you can unmute your mic now.
Hi, Kenny.
Good morning.
Good morning. I thought you said you were going on break, so I didn't know the question was supposed to come in while we are
Oh,
on
I'm
break.
very sorry. That's my bad. So we're trying to, in order to save time and not keep us waiting for too long. We're trying to the plan is to merge that together. We're going on break from Emmanuel's lecture. So I should have been explicit on that. We're going on break from Emmanuel's lecture. So we're using this point to have this interaction, answer the quiz in the chat section, relax, digest everything that they said, and we're trying to digest that. If you have any questions on trying to ponder on those things that have been said so far, that is the avenue for that.
Okay, that's the point I want to clarify. Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Right,
I think with that, people should be able to respond to questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Larry. Good morning, Shagun. Kindly unmute your mic now.
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Kenny.
Yes, good morning.
So I want to ask a question pertaining to one of the comments Emmanuel made concerning how Power BI acts as a connector through which it uses to connect with data wherever it is, and then use it to produce a report that users can use. So my question is that I think the main notion of Power BI being able to connect to over 200 different sources using the data connector that it has in the system. So how will it then happen? Does that mean that the source, like the data that Power BI will connect into has to always to be on like your desktop. And if what happens if the data is not on your desktop, let's say it's on a server somewhere, you've seen someone on the server, or maybe it's on your phone, or maybe it's on a different medium entirely that you would not have, let's say, an address that you have to type on Power BI to be able to link it to directly. Like let's say, what if it's saved on my phone now, and I don't have like maybe the address, like or like maybe internet, like a web address in which you can just key in, or maybe like a page which you can key in to say this is how, this is where that data that I've saved that it can be used to connect to Power BI. How does it connect to all the sources that you talked about? I don't know if you understand my question.
All right, Shegun, if I understand you clearly, how do you connect to your data sources wherever your data is today? What is the data connect to exactly, and how do you connect to
Yeah, and
your
and
data
what
sources?
also happen if it is not on the desktop? Like if it's not on the desktop, what if they are in other places that are not on the desktop? How does Power BI connect all this data together?
All right, thank you for that question. Emmanuel.
All right, thank you very much, Shegun. I don't. Is it good to answer now because we were supposed to wait for some persons to come back? I'd be happy to. I'll be happy to take the question if you permit me to. But should we wait till they come back, or do we answer it now?
No, hold that's true. Some people might have left in order to make good use of the break. Okay, I'm going to note that question down, Shegun. Thank you very much for asking that question. I'm going to note that question down. For others that also have questions, in order to really utilize our time, please, now is the time to ask your questions. And once everyone is back, we have about 3 minutes more. Emmanuel is going to help us with the answers to all of these questions.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. So Shegun, I'll
Another
take your
quiz has
question.
been
I'll take your
dropped.
question. I'll take your question after.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel. And another quiz has also been dropped in the chat section again. Please let do well to answer. And if you probably don't want to speak, the chat box is there. Please kindly drop your questions in the chat box. We'll do well to pick them from there and also um, direct them to Emmanuel. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I think. Um. All right. I can see the chat box. I'm not seeing any questions here. Okay. There's one actually. As a data analyst, if I am conversant exam employed, then it's like, all right. There are a number of questions that have come up in the chat box. All right, Uche, Ifeoluwapo, Donatos, thank you very much. Your questions are well noted. Once we have Emmanuel back on the, we are going to start taking questions one after the other. We can also see your responses coming in from, we have a lot of geniuses in here. Can see your responses coming back from the quiz. We have lots of brilliant people in here today. All right. So